USA Radio Artist Spotlight. And today we've got another up and coming country music star. His name is Mr. Cotter Hill. And he's in the house right now with us, Mr.
How's it
Cotter
going?
Hill. Thank you so much for joining us. And
Well,
how you doing today? How you doing?
doing great. How about you? Thanks for
I'm
having
doing
me on
well.
it.
Well, again, thank you so much for hanging out with us here on the Music Dreams USA Radio Artist Spotlight, and
You're
we're being
welcome.
brought to you by the Russell K and Alexa Morning Show. You can check us out on Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. and also Vox Sports and Football Fanatics, and also Shark Bites on one of our brand new shows called Shark Bites, and that's actually you can hear that show 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Weekdays as well. So
Hmm.
let's jump into this interview. I'm so excited.
Let's
I've
go.
had the
I'm
opportunity.
excited.
Yeah, I've had the opportunity to check out your music. Man, you are jamming.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad you like it.
Yeah. So let's kick off our show and let's kind of like fill in our listeners on how did your musical journey begin? Where are you now and where would you like to be?
Man, so it began. I grew up very shy, just to let you know. And I always wanted to be a musician, but I never had the nerve to do it. And then one day I picked up guitar and started playing around 12. And then I was like, you know what? I can do this. I can sing. I started listening to actual Michael Bolton out of all people.
Wow,
and
Michael Bolton, the
yeah,
1980s one. All right, there you go.
and so I kind of got hooked up with that because my mom, thanks mom, and yeah, so it went from there, and then it kind of grew from that, and I grew into songwriting, and then I was kind of a late bloomer to Nashville. I moved to Nashville around 26, and then started rolling in there and made some connections with everybody, and started touring the world, and just here I am now today, and yeah, love it. And where I want to be is I want to keep doing what I love. I want to keep bringing music to the world and to the people to listen to and have a good time, no matter what they're going through, and leave something behind when I go. So that's my goal.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. So I can't believe that you're shy though. I mean, when you told me you're shy, I'm like, no,
I am.
we talked
Yeah.
before we went live on here. I just couldn't picture you being shy.
I don't think I didn't talk to my dad till I was like 5 years old. So
I
yeah,
love it.
yeah,
Let's talk about your musical your musical background, if you will.
yeah.
Um, are there any artists that you looked up to? Who are they, and why did they play such a big part in your musical journey?
Yeah, I guess the biggest one outside of country would be Michael Bolton, and I don't know, it's a random. Everybody kind of makes fun of me for him being an influence, but he is because he's one of the best singers. Um, and I just grew up on him at a young age because my mom would listen to him all the time, and I always thought he was a phenomenal singer with his control and his range, and I was like, I want to be that kind of singer. Of course, I'm not that kind of singer, but I would like to think I am. But and then also in the country world, I'm a huge George Strait fan. So with the storytelling, with the country, just the vibe of the country, the old school country, and just the way he just presents himself in the songs is just incredible to me. So those are my two biggest influences in the music world.
I love it. You know, you brought up a really interesting point, and that's kind of you must be looking like at my cheat sheet right now. But I do have a question for you.
Yes.
And this is the question, right? Since we're on the subject of country music,
Hmm.
what are your thoughts about the current country music as it stands today?
Yeah, that's a kind of a hard question because it's for me it's hit or miss. There's a lot of really good stuff out there, a lot of really good stuff. I feel like it can sometimes be I can say this lightly, be a little oversaturated, I guess. And just speaking the truth. But yeah, a lot. I mean, I enjoy a lot of the songs out right now. To be honest, I don't listen to a lot of the new radio like songs that are out right now. I kind of stick with what I know and what I like and what I enjoy the most. But I'll tap in and listen to the other stuff. Just check it out and give everybody a listen and support them and do that. So that's kind of beat around the bush answer for you.
I know, I know, because we probably got like the record labels gonna be watching
Yeah.
our show or might be watching the show. So I'm gonna help you out with this one because I can't get in trouble. Well, maybe I can, but who I won't be the first time and I won't be the last.
Yeah.
I mean, here's my thought about country music today, right?
Mhm.
I mean, to me, it just seems like it's different. I mean,
It is. It
back in
is.
the day, you talk about George Strait, right? Kenny Rogers,
Hmm.
John Denver. A lot of those old, I like to call them old school country music singers, right?
Yeah.
And and to me, that's what I think when I think of country music. That's kind of what I think about,
Mhm.
kind of like those artists and those lines. And fast forward, I mean, some of the country music today it's okay, but I think there's like some rap into it as well, though. And I just can't see
Yeah.
country music with rap. I mean, to me, I mean, two and two doesn't add up to four for
Yeah.
me on that. I'm
I
just
was
being
gonna.
honest with you. And don't get me wrong. I mean, we're in the music business as well, and our job is to help to promote upcoming aspiring artists and to play that music. I
Mhm.
just think it's a little bit different, though.
It is a little different, and I will agree. I feel like country music today is it kind of taps into every genre a little bit. It kind of well, majority some people, not all people. There's still some your good traditional guys that are coming up and coming out, but I respect it to a degree because they. I mean, as an artist, I don't listen to just country, and so I get when those guys come out and they want to do rapping and do the rock stuff and stuff like that. I respect it because I mean it's music and they're the artists, so technically they can do what they want, and that's just the beauty of the of the art, in my opinion. But it is different. It is. It's not the same old traditional country as what we grew up on and everything like that. So
Gotcha. Yeah, I think that's a safe answer for both of us right now.
yeah,
So, yeah. Um, let's talk about your shows. I mean, honestly, before you get ready to do a show, and actually, this is a question just came over our internet here,
yeah.
and one of the listeners wants to ask you, prior to doing a show, do you have any pre-event rituals that you do before you go live on stage? If so, what are they, and why are they so important to you?
So I told you I grew up shy. So one of my pre-show things I do is I kind of go back into being shy because I get in my own head about whether I'm going to mess up the words or mess up the guitar parts and all that kind of stuff. So I kind of it and a lot of people kind of think that I'm rude with it, but I'm not. It's just how I kind of focus. I just get in the zone and I don't talk to anybody. So that's my biggest thing is that for about an hour, 30 minutes before the show, I just don't speak.
Mhm.
And then to kind of calm down because you can be a little anxious every now and then from time to time, depending on the show. And to calm down, I just kind of, I don't know, I just take a walk and hang out outside by myself and just think about everything and overthink everything. That's what I'm really good at. So I don't really have like a ritual, as you could say. But that's about what I do every show. So now that I think about it, maybe you should come up with one.
We have to thank our listener for asking that question
Yeah,
too.
thank you.
So
Mm.
when you're on stage live, I mean, do you ever get any nerves, or you get kind of like nervous or anything like that, or is it kind of, you've
Yeah,
done one, you've done them all?
the thing is I don't get nervous playing new songs, but I get nervous playing my older songs because I'm so comfortable with singing them that when I start singing them, I'm like, oh no, I don't know the words. So that's like, and you just get the hot flash, and you're like, oh, you can't mess this up, or you got to just make up new words for it. So that's so yeah, that's when I get the most nervous on stage is the older songs when I start singing them. So get too comfortable with them.
What's the biggest crowd you ever played in front of?
Uh, to date, about 3,500 with John Anderson.
Wow,
Yeah, I opened for John Anderson. That was a fun show. So,
that's awesome.
yeah.
So I had opportunity to look at all your songs, right? And you just had a new song that actually
Yes.
just turned a month old, right? So
Yes.
can you kind of like talk to our listeners about that song? How did it come about? And since we're on that subject, when it comes to songwriting, is your songwriting more about personal experiences? Or I know some artists, I mean, we've done like it seems like a million interviews, right? But
Yeah.
some artists, believe it or not, they actually have a laptop, right? And they have the words that come out. I don't know how they do it, but they have words to different songs. And what they
Yeah.
do is they match the words to the beat, and that's how they kind of like generate their music. What does songwriting look like for you?
Man, songwriting for me, I'm really, I can't do what those guys do. I have an idea because, and where I come from, where my writing comes from, I come from a standpoint of kind of going through the fact, sorry, and going through the fact of, sorry, look, somebody's trying to get in the door, but I go through.
You want to open the door, and bring them on, bring them live
Let's
on
just
the air?
let's backpedal that a little bit. Let's go. So my songwriting, I like to write personal stories about things that happen personally in my life. And if I don't have something like that, I like to talk to people about their problems too, or just everyday life. So I'll kind of pick songs from what I've talked about with other people and kind of build the song that way. And then I like to write it. I sit down with just acoustic or piano and write it out, and then get the melody, structure it up, and then I step away from it for a couple of days, and then I come back and I finish it, and then I'll step away from it a couple of days and come back and edit it. So kind of do all that. But with "Quit Like You," that just recently came out, it's actually, so that song is, the funny thing is we wrote it about 7 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it was one of those songs that I loved when we wrote it, and recorded it 4 different times, but just could not find like how what I felt like it needed to sound like or what it needed to be like. So just kind of built it from that, and recorded it 4 times, wasted money, wasted time. But that's just the beauty of it. And then finally I was like, we were putting the songs together for the new EP, and my producer Mark, he was like, we really need to tap back onto this song. And I was like, I don't know, I'm kind of tired of it now. Like, I've done it so many times, just couldn't get it right. And he was like, no, let's just try it one more time. So him and I sat down and we came up with what we have. And I was like, all right, that's it. That's what we've been looking for. That's how it needs to be. So that's, it's kind of funny with songwriting too, because you write songs so many years ago and you kind of just put them away, and then you forget about them. And then when you look back, when you're looking for a song to record or something, you kind of tap back into what you've already done, and you're like, oh, that was actually really cool. Like, well, I have not like recorded that and put it out yet. So what I enjoy the most about. But I also have a lot of songs that I've just forgotten about. But with all
Yeah,
that,
I hear you. Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, a lot of artists actually say that too, where they're like, well, we've had some songs, and the new song you're hearing right now is something we had years back, but we just couldn't find the right fit for that song. And so that's kind of cool that that you're kind of like saying the same thing too. So that's awesome.
yeah,
So when people listen to your music, what is the message that you're trying to send out to them?
man. The same message I try to like go for when I listen to songs, like when no matter what I'm going through in my life, whether it's happy, sad, or lonely, or you know anxious, whatever it is, I just want when people listen to my stuff to be able to relate to it, whether it's just something they're going through or whether they just want to have a good time. Well, like that's my biggest point with putting songs out, is I want it to be relatable and to help people through a time that they're going through. So
Awesome. All right, so I'm going to play a little role playing here for you. I've just heard about Cotter Hill, right? I've never been to any of his shows. I heard about him. I heard them, and this guy's like rocking, and he's fastly upcoming, and one of the up and coming country stars in country music. And I've never been to your show before. So, what can you tell me when I go to your show for the very first time ever? What can I expect?
a lot. I try to bring as much energy as possible, even if it's an acoustic show. Crowd engaging. I'm big on crowd engaging. I love sing along and all that kind of stuff as well. So that, and just pretty much, I give you my all. Like singing, playing as hard as I can for as long as I'm there. So I'll give you everything I got, and hopefully you walk away and you love it. So, and if you
I
don't, you just
love it.
don't come back.
No. All right. So since we're on the subject of concerts and all that good stuff, right?
Mhm.
What is the craziest thing that ever happened to you while you were live on stage?
Keep it G rated.
Well, this was a family show, maybe not.
No,
So much for that idea, right?
yeah. I mean, there's been a lot of things happen on stage. I mean, over the years doing it, like you have power go out, you have people fall and hurt themselves in the crowd, you have people just wander up on stage when they're not supposed to be on stage. Like, and I've seen a lot of it, and a lot of it's probably not the most G-rated stuff to tell, but yeah, it's just, because people get a little wild when they start drinking and they start hanging out and they do whatever. So yeah, it's just, yeah, I've seen a lot. So we'll just keep it broad right there. So,
Yeah, yeah. I think it's time to move on right now.
yeah. Right.
So, if there's one thing in the music industry that you would like to see changed, what would that be and why?
Hmm. I think my biggest thing was the support for like the up and coming artists. I think it is changing more so. I mean, due to social media and everything like that. But social media is also a hard one to navigate for everybody. But yeah, I think that would be the biggest, just the love and support for artists like that, especially live shows. Because I mean, we build our craft in the studio or at home or online or whatever. Majority of to put it out into a live show and for people to show up and respect it and love it. So I think that would be the biggest thing for that I would like to see continue to change is the love and support for the upcoming guys.
Yeah, I'm so glad to hear you say that.
Mhm.
I really truly am. I mean, with the Music Dreams USA Radio Artist Spotlight, that's actually what we're all about. I mean,
Yeah,
this show, if it wasn't for artists like you, this show would not even be airing live right now. It wouldn't even be it wouldn't be anything really.
yeah,
And so, special thanks to all of our, record labels that we work with and everything. But it's all about, helping to promote upcoming aspiring artists just like you. And, as I mentioned to you before we went on live on the air, we actually can stream live from the venues. We can do all that stuff. So, yeah, thank you for sharing that. And that really makes us feel good because it makes us feel like we're doing something worthwhile, that we're actually helping people in the music industry. I mean, because I'm sure you would agree with me, right? When
yeah.
you have a relationship in the music industry, you kind of like have to cherish that relationship, because if you don't, maybe one day that can come back and haunt you. And that's one thing we learned a long time ago. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that 100%.
Right on. So let's talk about, since we're on the artist, right? That, yeah, again, I swear you must be looking at my cheat sheet here. So let's talk about the artist who maybe are not in the same spot you are right now. What advice or what feedback would you give them to help them to never give up, but to continue to follow their dreams and to get to where you are right now today?
Man, honestly, what you said, just don't give up. Like you're gonna get more no's than you'll get yeses, and it's a hard battle and it's hard to overcome. But you got to just stay strong and stay true to yourself and true to your music, and just remember that the music is the most important part. So that's what I would have to say to somebody.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. So let's talk about not you being on stage right now. What are some of your hobbies that you like to do when you're not on stage playing music?
Man, hang out with family is number one. Fishing, for sure, number two, and I would like to say practicing would be a hobby. but,
Are you
but
guys like a sports fan? You like sports?
I do. I'm a big baseball guy. Big baseball guy. So that's
Who do you
about the
like? What team?
Atlanta Braves all the way.
The
No,
ATL, the Braves, right?
yeah, yep.
There you go. Yeah, I
All
actually went to a Braves game not too long ago, and yeah, they're just a lot of fun.
they are a good time. Yeah, I grew up not far from them, so I was kind of born into a Braves fan. Um,
So now, as far as like your album, right? I mean, obviously, just not too long, just getting coming out there. Are you actually currently working on some additional music for a future album, or
I
you
am.
kind of just kind of ride the wave on this one right now?
Kind of both. I like to ride the wave on this new stuff when it comes out, but no matter when I put it out or even when I'm working on the new stuff in the studio, I'm always working on new music. So definitely have more lined up for the near future.
Awesome. So when you began your musical career, what was like the very first instrument you learned how to play?
Guitar, actually. And I'm about 11 years old as I learned guitar. So
Wow. Did you kind of like teach yourself, or someone taught you how to do it?
the first 2 years I had lessons, and then I was like, I know it all. And then I didn't know it all. And I just kind of taught myself from there. So,
That's awesome. I always wanted to learn how to play the drums. Yeah, I did. It's like I mean, I just think like, the drummer in the band. I
yeah,
mean, just my personal opinion, I just think like the drummer in the band, they can either make or break that band, because they supply the energy and
you got to
the
have a good one.
rhythm, and they really kind of like set the tone for the night. I mean, that's just my personal opinion. But
Yeah.
I always want to learn how to play the drums.
I thought about it for a long time, but I just can't get my hands and my feet working together. It just doesn't happen.
I love it. Let's talk about and getting back to your music now. As the listeners are watching now, or maybe the listeners will be watching a little bit later,
Hmm.
How can they get in contact with you and how can they purchase your music?
Man, follow me on all social medias and CotterHillMusic.com, and it'll take you to everything I got. So I would love to connect with everybody, and anybody who wants to just send me something on social media.
That's awesome. And so, we still got a little bit more time left in our interview, and let's kind of like give you a few moments, kind of like to talk to our crowd here. And is there anything you'd like to share with our listeners that maybe we haven't covered yet?
Um, I know we talked about the one song that "Quit Like You," but I actually just released this new 6 songs back on June 23rd. So yeah, I would love for everybody to check that out.
And just go to CotterHillMusic.com.
Yeah.
Awesome. And I mean, since you're in the music industry right now, I mean, are you really enjoying it right now? Are you enjoying life? And what are some of the memories? Let's talk about some of the memories that maybe that you've created from maybe say day one to where you are now. Are there any memories that really stick out to you? What would those memories be, and why are they so special to you?
Man, there's a lot. Just growing in the music business, it definitely teaches you how to grow as a person and how to be a good person, and because there's a lot of ups and downs, and sometimes more downs than ups, and yeah, just a lot of just and the biggest thing for me is just kind of watching the fan base grow, watching the crowds grow, watching the music get better, and just that's the biggest accomplishment and everything that I see every day when I do something different. Like that's what means the most to me.
That's awesome. Yeah, thank you for sharing that with us. And I know we talked about a few of you, the people you looked up to in music. Are there any other artists that maybe played a part into your journey?
There's a lot. I'm a so I do country. I write country. I play country, but I listen to a lot of the older guys, like I mentioned earlier, Michael Bolton, and I also grew up on Chicago and Styx, and they're a big inspiration musically because orchestrating and everything like that, how they did it, that was huge inspiration on me. Chicago inspiration, but yeah, that's kind of where I tap base, and I kind of always tap back to that, where I kind of came from and my true roots in the rock and roll world and the country world of Garth Brooks and George Strait and the older days of Rascal Flatts and everything like that too. So
Wow, that's awesome. And obviously, when you're not on stage, I mean, can you maybe tell us about like a concert you went to that just totally blew you away? What concert was that, and why was it so special to you?
hmm, let me see, which one was it? That's a hard one to think about, honestly.
That's what you paid to
So
do.
many good ones that have so many good ones. Um, I would have to say probably the very first time that I ever went to the Grand Ole Opry. I watched. It was the brothers Osborne. That was their debut, and it was Rascal Flatts headlining it, and they did an acoustic show, and just the three of them singing all their hits acoustic, and then that it was kind of cool to see such a big crowd and such an energetic crowd, and then they just broke it down. They did everything acoustic. That kind of changed my perspective on live shows because kind of shows you can do it no matter or however you want to do it, and no matter the size of the crowd. So
Do you ever do any acoustic shows?
I do a lot. Yeah, I've been doing a lot lately.
Mhm.
I've been doing like a little acoustic tour this year, so it's been kind of nice to get out and just kind of have an intimate little show with everybody.
Do you think like acoustic, the acoustic version of your song is a little bit more personal with the crowd? Do you think?
I 100% agree.
Okay, yeah, I would too. I
Yeah,
think it's a little bit more like, you're kind of like more, especially if it's live music, you're not really as close to them as you would be with acoustic. It's more a little bit more sitting down, chilling out, and just playing your music.
yeah,
And so yeah, definitely, I definitely appreciate that.
yeah.
Any final thoughts that you would like to share with our listeners? Anything that anything you want to share?
Man, I just kind of tap back. If you're wanting to be a musician, do it. If you want to be a songwriter, do it. Don't care what anybody else says. Don't tell. Doesn't matter if somebody tells you no or whatever. Just do what you want to do. love it, enjoy it, live your life, and yeah. And then also connect with me. Let's be friends. So, man,
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm all about networking. I totally agree. I think network, especially in the music business, networking is so important.
yeah,
And and I keep on telling people, that are looking to build what they're doing, just keep on doing it over and over and over again. I mean, it could get repetitious, but it's like
yeah,
just keep on doing it over and over again, and eventually people are like, oh, okay, that's what they do. And
like yeah.
yeah, so yeah,
And that
I'm totally on board with that.
another
Networking is
big thing for
huge.
me is I like with artists that when they reach out, I like to do my best to help them out, even if it's just a little bit of advice. Because I always think back to the guys when I, especially first moved to Nashville, I didn't know anybody. I went there by myself. I didn't know anything about the city or the business, and I found the right guys, and they are still some of my best friends today. And they just helped me and walked me through everything and taught me everything I know. And I love to try to do that with anybody who reaches out to me as well. So
Yeah, that's super cool. And I mean, because in the music business, let's be honest, right? You're gonna need somebody someplace, sometime. You're gonna need someone to help you.
yeah,
And so yeah, it's cool to hear that that you're willing to, as busy as you are, and as you're up and coming quickly, and you're still willing to help people out. I
yeah.
mean, I tip my hat to you, and that's
Thank you.
we need more artists like that.
Thank you. So
Yeah.
plan to stay that way.
There you go. So, can you maybe tell our listeners about maybe some upcoming shows you have,
Yes.
we're worldwide, so no matter where you are, we can follow you.
Yeah. So I got, like I mentioned earlier before we went live, doing April 26th at a little place. It's an acoustic show, actually. A little place called Overflow in Mooresville. And then I kind of have a couple weeks off, and then I'll be playing a festival down in Douglasville, Georgia. I'll be headlining that. Full band show. I don't have all the details on that yet, but if they want to keep up with it, make sure you check out the website and check the dates and everything like that, and all that stuff will start coming up soon. And then there's some other stuff in between as well. I don't know off the top of my head right yet.
Gotcha. All right. Well, again, thank you so much for taking time out here today to be with us, and it
Thank you
was
for
so
having
nice
me.
to meet you. And man, I just love your music, and I'm not just saying because you're live on the air with us, but I've actually had the opportunity to listen to your music, and it is so inspiring, and it's so good, and I can see the reason where you are right now is because you are so talented. So thank you
Thank you.
for what
Thank
you
you.
do, and thank you for sharing your music. And on behalf
Absolutely.
of the staff management here on Music Dreams USA Radio, we definitely thank you for your time.
Yes.
And
Thank you. Thank you so much for
yeah,
having me.
you're more than welcome. And hopefully, we can get you back on the show pretty soon here, and
Yeah, absolutely.
we'll circle back, and hopefully we can line something up. But hopefully, if there's anything you need from us, let us know. But until then, you take care, my friend.
You too.
Safe travels to you, and we certainly wish you all the best as you continue your musical journey.
Thank you so much.
All right. And that was Mr. Cotter Hill. And we thank him so much for taking time out on the Music Dreams USA Radio Artist Spotlight Show. And are you an upcoming aspiring artist? Are you looking to get your name out there? Are you looking for some exposure? Simply send your request to info.musicdreamsusa@gmail.com. And we'll check out your music, and we feel it's a great fit. We'll definitely get back in contact with you. Until the next time, it's your friend Russell K from the Russell K and Alexa Morning Show. And you can listen to us live Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. And then shortly thereafter, it's our brand new show called Shark Bites with Mark the Shark Richards. Make sure you check us out. We're your home for the best mix of the 80s and 90s with some amazing musical and sports shows mixed in between. Until the next time, take care, be safe. We'll see you again soon.